We got some good news today when it comes to the California handgun roster. Now, many of you might know in the past that a previous lawsuit, Pena versus Harand, was scheduled to be seen by the Supreme Court, whether or not they were going to choose to hear it or kick it back down. Ultimately, they ended up denying hearing that case, and that was rather unfortunate. That case would have been potentially good for us in the sense that we might have seen the handgun roster struck down. Ultimately, the Supreme Court decided not to hear it, but the fight is not over. We have a new lawsuit being pushed by the Second Amendment Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition, San Diego County Gun Owners Association, as well as the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, otherwise known as CCRKBA. That's a mouthful. That's what she said. Before we get talking about this case, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of this channel, Franklin Armory. They've been a huge supporter of me, huge supporter of the Second Amendment in the state of California, as well as nationwide. They've got a wide range of products. No matter what state you're in, they got something that you might be interested in. Specifically for all of you in California, check out their CA7, CA11, and CA12, 3 AR-15 pistols that you can buy in the state of California that are on the handgun roster. Very cool. While those handguns are cool, I think it would be great, and I know that Franklin Armory would love it if the handgun roster did not exist. So let's talk about that today. So I'm going to leave a link down in the description below to what I'm actually reading right now, and so you can see more of this information for yourself. Today, Firearms Policy Coalition, along with some other organizations, announced the filing of a new federal lawsuit challenging the state of California's recently expanded handgun ban, sometimes referred to as the state's handgun roster. The state, Reina et al., I might be mispronouncing that, so if I am mispronouncing that, I'm sorry. Reina et al. Versus Becerra can be viewed at fpclegal.org. I'll leave all those links down below. The state of California categorically prevents law-abiding citizens from purchasing and self-building thousands of handgun models in common use for lawful purposes, including the vast majority of handguns widely available throughout the United States. And like all of you know, AB 2847 recently passed by Gavin Newsom made it even worse. Basically what's going on is previously we had this list of handguns, and as long as the manufacturers chose to pay the fees and dance when they said dance, they could keep those guns on the roster. The requirements that kept new guns from getting on the roster was something called micro-stamping. It required that in 2 places, every time a semi-auto handgun fires the round and cycles it out, that it would leave some sort of identifying mark on the gun. That technology was considered by many in the industry and any firearms enthusiast as impossible to implement on a scale that's not going to be expensive and very easy to tamper with, meaning that it was pointless. It wasn't going to save lives. The handgun roster existed solely to prevent people from being able to have free access to handguns because it makes them more expensive. When you decrease the supply and the demand stays the same, it makes things cost more, meaning that fewer people are able to afford it. It gives people less options and otherwise encourages people to avoid buying a handgun in the first place, because that's ultimately what they want. They don't want you to want handguns. The new law, that was signed into AB 2847, actually made it easier by only requiring 1 micro-stamping location, but it also went about and added in a stipulation that for every new handgun that complies with the current requirements to be on their safe handgun roster, 3 existing firearms that don't currently meet the new criteria would have to be removed, because there's a lot of guns like the Glock 19s, you know, those guns are very popular, drop safe, but they don't have a loaded chamber indicator, they don't have a magazine disconnect, they don't have micro-stamping, they don't have a physical safety. All of those things make it not adequate for a new firearm to be added onto the list. So every time a new handgun was added, they would remove 3 semi-auto handguns that don't meet those requirements. So going back to this article, California's so-called Unsafe Handgun Act is really just an unconstitutional ban on commonly used, constitutionally protected firearms. We will prove to the court how California's handgun ban cannot survive constitutional scrutiny under the Second Amendment and Supreme Court precedents, and thus it must be declared unconstitutional and enjoined. In Heller, the U.S. Supreme Court provided a simple test. If an arm is bearable and in common use for lawful purposes, it is prima facie protected under the Second Amendment, period. The handguns California prevents law-abiding people from purchasing and making themselves are protected arms. We are eager to vindicate the rights of our clients and the people of California through this case. You notice a specific part here where it says "and making themselves." Well, that's pretty specific because when it comes to 80%ers, for example, in the state of California, right now a private citizen, theoretically, under the current law, cannot apply to build their own handgun because they wouldn't be able to make it meet the micro-stamping requirements. You can make one of those bolt actions and get a serial number from the DOJ and whatnot, and yes, I know anybody could just choose to not comply with the law, but the point of this and the point of these lawsuits is to make it so that you don't have to make the decision to not comply. I'm not going to tell you to follow the law. I might explain at certain points what the laws are and what you can and can't do. It's not legal advice, it's just my interpretation. However, at the end of the day, if you don't comply, that affects me in no way. So, if you choose to, that's on you, not on me. The point of these lawsuits are to make it able for any average person to be within the law and do these things that are a constitutionally protected right. The legislator has created a regulatory scheme that prevents people from buying handguns that are widely available and popular in the free market outside of the state, said Brandon Combs. California's new and expanded handgun ban is unconstitutional because it prevents law-abiding people from purchasing the common, modern firearms they have under our Constitution. Just like the state cannot prohibit people from buying political books of their choice, different versions of religious texts, or computers with technological and commercial developments better suited for publishing speech. It cannot ban the sale and self-manufacture of these constitutionally protected handguns. The Reina case is another important lawsuit as part of FPC's comprehensive strategy to defend freedom, advance individual liberty, and restore the Constitution and its guarantees for individuals throughout the United States. So, we got to do a quick check-in, but before I do, I want to say thank you to everyone that liked this video already. If you have not done so already, please do so. If you are not subscribed, please check to make sure you are subscribed. A lot of people have been getting unsubscribed lately. But so we have now, this is the fourth court case that we really need to pay attention to as Californians. We have Miller versus Becerra, which is the assault weapon case. We have Duncan versus Becerra, which is the magazine case. We have Rhodes versus Becerra, which is the ammunition background check system case, which doesn't look like it's going to be going so well, but I think is going to be a quick candidate to get to the Supreme Court. Very positive on that and very hopeful on that. And now we have Reina versus Orenya or Reina. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry, Renna. The Reina case, until I hear it pronounced otherwise, that's what I'm going to call it. The Reina case is challenging the handgun roster. If you were to look at what in the state of California are the worst laws that we have, other than concealed carry, which we do have some court cases that are floating around in various districts that could be very positive for us, we have the assault weapon ban, now we have the handgun roster, the ability to buy ammunition, and the ability to buy magazines. All four of those things are four of the 5 wonder kids when it comes to the gun grabbers. If we can get rid of those, that would be huge. In the past, a lot of people have been very critical of Firearms Policy Coalition and me for supporting them, which I don't really get, but they've been saying, hey, what have they actually done long term? And it's a fair question because ultimately nothing that they've done for those 4 cases or these 4 cases have gone to the Supreme Court and had a permanent lasting effect. However, right now we need to consider that we have a 6-3 conservative majority on the Supreme Court, meaning that if we can get any of these to the Supreme Court, it doesn't matter what the lower court said. If we can get these to be appealed to the Supreme Court, we only need to get 4 Supreme Court justices to accept the case, I believe, and we have at worst case scenario, 5-4 majority, at best case scenario, 6-3 majority. Any one of those cases getting to the Supreme Court would set a massive precedent for gun rights. We already have Kavanaugh, who said that he wants to see a gun case, and we now have Amy Coney Barrett, who wants to see a gun case. This is great. This is potential good news. I'm going to be very hopeful for this. I'm going to be supporting Firearms Policy Coalition. They recently reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do like some sort of sponsorship because they're going to have a lot of videos. I'm going to be talking about a lot of cases that they're going to be putting forward. They reached out and asked if I wanted to do some sort of sponsorship to support me when they have court cases that are coming up and news that they want to share. I told them no. I just didn't feel comfortable taking their money because every dollar that I take from them is a dollar that's going away from gun rights. I also recently realized that you only need 40,000 subscribers to do a charity stream. It used to be 100K. I'm not sure how to get Firearms Policy Coalition set up to be a authorized charity on YouTube, but once I get that done, once I have some free time on a weekend, I'm going to do some sort of live stream that's going to be all the money going to Firearms Policy Coalition. Do not hold me on a date yet for that because I do not know. I got to get everything lined up. We got to get everything worked out, all the little kinks worked out before we do that. Also, I want to say thank you to everyone on the Subscribe Star. We are doing a giveaway for a Psa Rifle Kit. I know I've spoken critically about Psa in the past. They're not the greatest AR-15s out there on the market, but they're a good budget option. And anyone that's on the Subscribe Star, doesn't matter what tier, there is a $2 tier that gives you access to the Discord, as well as some of the secret areas of the Discord. There's other tiers as well that give you other bonus benefits, but a $2 1-month subscription will give you access to this giveaway. It's going to be about $600. You know, we'll get something from PSA that's going to be pretty nice. I want to say thank you specifically to John Spick, Killjoy, Alan Powell, the greatest troll to ever live, JVal13, Fox, San Ramon, aka Twisted Steel, Ferosin, Ryizaznan, Chizazanambers, Jennifer, California EDC, Tyler Smith, Seamus, RBNW, Jay Schindeldecker, Truby666, Megastab06, Nathan Wangza, We the People, Baron Noli, Swahili, Scott Bloss, Justin White, Thickok45, Nut in My Pantsy, Tyrannical Banana, Travis Paro, and Jacob Munoz. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. You don't have to join the Subscribe Star, but it is greatly appreciated anytime someone does. Thank you everyone for helping me get to where I am today. If you haven't already, drop a comment. Please drop a like. Subscribe if you're interested in keeping up to date. This is going to be one of the new court cases that I'm going to be actively following. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. You know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. Oh, also, thank you Gun Thoughts for sending me out their new line of merch, the Overgassing Kills. I also got their Goon Thoughts shirt. Check them out. Cool people.